Support comes from the Virginia Living Museum. I'm Jessica Azura, Senior Director of Guest Engagement, welcoming you to experience the wonder of Virginia's native birds, mammals, marine life, and reptiles, all with a focus on education and conservation. More at thevlm.org.
Good morning, this is Dwight Davis. Welcome to our Bird Notes. Similes effectively employ animals to make their point, and rightly so, since a lot of animal behavior is well known to us humans. As stubborn as a mule, for example, sums things up very nicely. Birds are employed in such comparisons. Think as happy as a lark, or as proud as a peacock, or as wise as an owl. An aside here, as I've noted before, we who name ourselves Homo sapiens confer wisdom on owls because they superficially resemble us by virtue of their forward-facing eyes. But how about as thin as a rail? Is the word a reference to a narrow fence railing, as some derivations suggest, or does it refer to a bird, as other sources say? Well, since this is a bird feature, I'll opt for the latter. Rails are mostly marshland birds, sort of chicken-like, generally drably feathered, and very secretive in their habits. Rails in our area range from the foot-and-a-half-long king rail to the diminutive, rarely seen black rail. Secretive is the operative word when describing rails, and you can throw in shy and elusive, too. Rails are much more often heard than seen, identifiable by their somewhat mechanical-sounding or insect-like calls. Audubon claimed that the rails are good ventriloquists, which certainly doesn't help in trying to locate them. As a matter of fact, most people's attempts to see rails end in failure, while the birders are standing in the mud and gazing out over a couple of acres of marshy reeds, all the while muttering to the person nearby, "I know he's in there somewhere," and murmuring occasionally, sotto voce, "Come on, show yourself." But these birds rarely allow themselves to be seen. Oh, with luck one may glimpse the larger rails, but to see the smaller mouse-like yellow or black rails is truly a rare experience. Once I came upon a king rail in plain view, but the identification was held up a bit because the bird was swimming. What I was seeing didn't compute at first, a brownish bird with a long bill swimming like a duck. I had to reboot. It was, as Peterson says about swimming rails, a baffling-looking bird. Now, what about the simile? Well, part of these birds' success in staying hidden is their ability to compress their bodies laterally and slip away through the reeds and grasses. They flatten their feathers, squeeze their bodies in, and melt into the marsh, as thin as a rail.
Support comes from the Virginia Living Museum. I'm Jessica Azura, Senior Director of Guest Engagement, welcoming you to experience the wonder of Virginia's native birds, mammals, marine life, and reptiles, all with a focus on education and conservation. More at thevlm.org.